A very good day to you and welcome to the program. I want to speak to you today about one of my favorite subjects. What is that? That subject is preaching the gospel. Jeremiah said, "Woe unto me. I'm not preaching anymore." He was in the stocks. They put chains on him. They put his hands in wooden stocks and they threw rotten vegetables at him. And he said, "That's it, Lord, no more." And then the very next verse he says, "But woe unto me." He says, "There's a fire in my bones. It constrains me. I have to preach the gospel." My dear friend, open air preaching is for everybody. You don't have to get permission from anyone. I don't think Paul got permission from the disciples, did he? No, he did not. In fact, when he was converted, he came to Jerusalem and said, "Boys, I'm here." And they said, "We don't know you." 13 years later, he had been in the Arabian desert. He came back and he said, "I'm going to preach the gospel. I'm not staying in Jerusalem." And where did he go? He went to Ephesus. He went to the Galatians. He went to the Corinthians. He went to the Ephesians. He went to the Philippians and he told the good news. Most of his preaching was done open air. Why? Because they didn't want him in the synagogues. I want to say to you, maybe you're sitting there and you're saying, "Angus, I would have loved to have preached the gospel, but I never had the privilege of going to Bible college." I've got good news for you. Neither did I. I've been to the school of life. I've been to the cross of Calvary. I've been to the school of hard knocks. My education came through agriculture, through farming. When I saw that my God is the weatherman, the rainmaker, the master of the wind, that's where I got my stories from. That he is no respecter of persons. He'll use any man, any woman, any boy, any girl who will say, "I'll go." That's what Isaiah said, "I'll go." And God says, "And I'll use you." You just need to start wherever you are. You say, "I'm a student." What a beautiful place to start. Start telling your friend about the love of God, about the forgiveness that comes through giving your life to Jesus Christ. I want you to, you might say, "I'm a miner, Angus, I go underground." It's even better. When those guys are in that pit, I want to tell you, I salute all miners. Those are men of great courage. That's one area I say, "Lord, please don't send me there." But he sent me other places. You might be a sportsman. What a place in the change room just before kickoff on the cup final when everybody's biting their fingernails. Say, "Boys, let's pray." What an opportunity. Madam, you might be a housewife. You say, "I'm just a housewife." Just a housewife? You've got the most noble profession of all women. What was Mary? Mary, the mother of Jesus. God chose to be brought up by a woman, a housewife. Tell other housewives about the honor they have of bearing children that belong to God. There's your first congregation, right in your house with your children. You might be an old age pensioner. You might say, "Angus, I'm over 60 or I'm over 80. What can I do?" Sir, I've got a heart for old people. You know why? Because according to the law of averages, they are going to meet Jesus before anybody else. They are desperate to know the way. You have to point them and say, "This is the way, walk ye in it." The Lord gave us a commandment in Mark chapter 16, verse 15. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. So I've got good news for you. None of us is exempt from preaching the gospel. None of us. Doesn't matter where. You might be in prison. What a place to tell people about Jesus. Many a revival started in the prison, in hospital, wherever you might be. Folks, we are believing for the greatest revival the world has ever seen in these last days. It's not going to happen through a handful of preachers like me. It's going to happen through the man in the street. He's going to preach the gospel. So I want to encourage you as we close. Get out there and tell people about Jesus. Goodbye.
We trust that you have been blessed by today's message. For more information, please visit angusbuchan.com.